The people of Afghanistan are the victims of international terrorism, make a personal and financial sacrifice every day. Afghanistan is a strategic partner of the international community in ongoing war against the international terrorism. And currently it has a military and a civilian presence in Afghanistan. But the ongoing war in Afghanistan, political crisis, corruptions, civilian lawlessness, peace effort, and covert efforts, the vague attempts for the release of the prisoners, the drugs, the threats of the Islamic civil human rights, or those things that not only not cause concerns to every Afghans, but the effect of the lives of Afghans every day. In practice, problems are attached by each passing day. Over the past 19 years, sections of Afghanistan have sacrificed their lives in war against international terrorism. And for the protection of the democracy and the national interest, and security official soldiers are fought in the front lines to local people, have revolted in the villages, judges, prosecutors, lawyers have served the justice. Afghanistan investors have invested in the economy, and the public again and again supported the government. National political movements, civil society, intellectuals and influential figures have always stood behind the government. But today, when Afghanistan national interests are ignored and threatened, their concerns will be well-founded. Over the past 19 years, new political movements, the civil and the social movements, and the ideas have been in the country. Currently, there are no region and group of Afghanistan that's financially, intellectually aligned with these new ideas and values. But now, without consulting with the important layers of the society in peace process of Afghanistan, such as political parties, civil movements, the women rights group, religious and spiritual figures, and the prominent figures in the community, ignoring Islamic values and the national interest of Afghan peace with the Taliban will not bring desired outcome for the both of us and the international community. The peace agreement with the Taliban without the strong international guarantees and not disrupting the financial resource of international tourists as concerned the Afghans. The problem is that none of the Afghans feel safe in the Afghanistan anymore. And Afghans have no political, military, economic, social, environmental protections. Our basic demand is that we want peace for all Afghans and for the nation to form the national integration movement of Afghanistan to express their concern over the address. The movements bring together the 100 of the current and retired generals from the National Security Department of Afghanistan, member of the civil societies, trade unions, judges, prosecutors, lawyers, community leaders, and the politicians, and many others from the different parts of the Afghan community. The National Integration Movement of Afghanistan has planned to hold a large gathering to protest its concern on ongoing process. But due to the COVID-19 and the coronavirus, so the movement was not able to enlarge that movements. So that's why we postponed the large movement till these problems has been resolved. The 10 important points that the national movements would like to proceed on, I would like to closely focus on that one. Number one, we support the inter-Afghan negotiations, but the national interests of Afghan must be preserved in the negotiations. Number two, a permanent ceasefire between the Afghan government and the Taliban is needed to increase the trust between the two sides of the conflict, the pathway for the lasting peace, a long-term peace in Afghanistan. Number three, drugs in Afghanistan are the global phenomenon and a major financial source of international tourism, but the local Afghans are its victims. We want this issue to be included in inter-Afghan talks with the Taliban. Number four, we want peace in Afghanistan, but the peace and the protects with the national interest of Afghan and eliminate the elements of the tourism that allows other international groups to thrive in the country. Number 5, the Taliban assured that an American in the Qatar peace agreement with the Taliban that Afghanistan soil will not be used against the Americans. But we want assurance from the international community, especially from the United States and Britain, that the soil of the neighboring country should not be used against Afghanistan. Number 6, the people of Afghanistan, especially the military, judiciary, civil servants, academics, who have fought against the tourism of Afghanistan for the 19 years, as the vital part of the Afghan society and should be included for the peace agreement. And the Afghan community need to benefit from the expertise about the peace and governance in the country. Number 7, we believe Afghanistan national interests can only be safeguarded in a democratic system. We opposed any compromise in democratic system in a peace negotiations. Number 8, we support the exchange of the prisoners between the Taliban and the government. But if the Taliban prisoners who are convicted to drug trafficking and the terrorism are supposed to be released, then those prisoners who are convicted only for the offense should also be released in the country. Number 9, Afghan military officer, prosecutors, judges, lawyers, and civil servants have been involved in arresting and prosecuting of the Taliban prisoners who are supposed to be released in a peace agreement. But the security of these military and the civil servants of Afghanistan must be guaranteed. That needs to be a very top priority of that movement. Number 10, weapons. Weapons are a major factor in a war. Anyone who makes the peace with Afghan government should have raised the issue of the weapon collection. If not unchecked, there are fears that the weapons could be fall into the hand of the militants and that could be used against the war for Afghan civilians. Note the final attention: if the international community and Afghan government take action against the national interest of Afghans, the national integration movement of Afghanistan will continue to protest peacefully and will present its demands in international legal authorities. So due to coronavirus, we're not proceeding that movement. So until this coronavirus is finished, then the movements will start all over the country. Thank you very much for your attention. The High Council of the NIMA.